Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed viewers and fellow enthusiasts of India's logistics landscape. I'm Rachayata Siddharth, and on behalf of Logistics Insider, I would like to welcome you all to another episode of Leaders Speak. Today's enlightening conversation revolves around rediscovering India's 3PL supremacy and its role in the country's economic growth, a topic that represents a pivotal exploration into the heart of India's logistics and supply chain landscape. In a rapidly evolving global economy, the role of third party logistics in facilitating economic growth cannot be understated. Today, we are going to take the essential ingredients and strategies that make India a powerhouse in the 3PL sector, contributing significantly to the nation's economic development. Through this discourse, we aim to delve into the innovative solutions, technological advancements, and visionary leadership that have propelled India's 3PL industry to the forefront, while also highlighting the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. For an eye opening discussion on this crucial topic, today we have the distinct honor of hosting Mr. Rajkiran Kanagala, the President and Chief Business Officer of Transport Corporation of India, an alumnus of the Harvard Business School. He is a visionary leader whose contributions have left an incredible mark on the industry. With an illustrious career spanning over 16 years in supply chain, logistics, and transportation, Mr. Kanagla has not only amassed a wealth of experience, but has also been recognized as a distinguished speaker and author in these domains. His insights and expertise have been sought after by some of the most respected institutions and academia. So I would like to welcome Mr. Rajkiran Kanagala, the President and Chief Business Officer of TCI, a true pioneer and trailblazer in his field. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much, Rachita, and thank you everybody who's joined in and who might see it later. Thanks a lot.
It is such an honor to have you, sir. Now, let's just start the conversation. Jump right into it. Logistics plays a pivotal role in trade and commerce, and that has been highlighted time and again. And it has been not, I would not say very recent, but yeah, it has been only some time that, especially in India, also the importance of logistics has been realized, and the government has also started working on it with like full force. So, how do you see India's logistics sector facilitating international trade and aiding the economic growth of India on a global scale? And also, challenges that entail the 3PL sector within the logistics industry.
Sure. Thanks, Rachita. And first and foremost, compliments to Logistics Insider for being one of the leading, uh, sort of a media house for this industry. This industry did need a lot of players. The more, the better. And my only worry is that you have a suffix insider. Hope you don't take too much of insider information out of us or in general, because we would like to keep some trade secrets.
No,
Uh,
no, sir.
but yes,
Yeah,
yeah. But I've been going through your mailers. I've been going through your publications, articles. It's been quite insightful, and let's hope we jointly are able to add to that. So coming to the
right.
question, just to give some numbers, and the first and foremost, like the entire country is in a way on a euphoria of just concluded G20, and if you see the overall usage of the word supply chain logistics, the last few years it's been used on a continuous basis by the prime minister, by all the leading ministers, by industry heads. And during COVID, we experienced the importance of logistics. And when we come to specific area of 3PL, the last few years, especially 22, saw that we have reached a available space of around 400 million square feet. So it's a couple of reports are stating 350 to 400 million square feet of available space is there. And most of it is among the top 8 to 10 cities, around 40%. and
Right.
investments to the tune of around $2 billion in last 12, 18 months have come primarily through private equity. So when you look at these numbers, challenges can be kept aside. We are only looking at opportunities, and I believe that's what's happening. So let's step back and see what entails 3PL warehousing operations or business. There are two clear buckets. One is getting the space, a warehousing or a storage space or a yard. Let us also
Right.
understand that a yard or a simple storage is also a very important part of a entire value chain, whether it is on the forward side or whether it is on the raw material side. Now, this space was historically led to landlords. One a person who has got one or two properties, who builds a property in his ancestral land, and he feels that he'll get a permanent return. There were no
Right.
standards followed per se. Second was management, inventory management and fulfillment, and that's where players like us came into being, and so did many multinationals. But the last 3 to 5 years, what has happened? Thanks to the multinationals, private equity fund, and also the Indian corporates who said, let's professionalize the space of construction. Let's professionalize the place of supply of warehousing. Let's look at what India really needs in terms of a fulfillment center, or what we commonly call as a box. So the box
Right.
became central to the entire game, and the box quality, the box supply, the time in which it will be given to any 3PL player became a key aspect. So thus another metric here today, out of the total supply, around 40 odd percent is led by 3PLs. So what it means? So we have a client, and the client gives us an entire end-to-end contract to manage inventory and do a fulfillment to his customer. The box is a subset of that, and we lease the box, or we have a long-term arrangement or a short-term arrangement, as the case may be. So there's, the fact that you have a very qualified supply to ensure that at the end of the day you're taking of inventory and taking care of it. Our customer's customer became a real 3PL piece, and that's evolving. Also, the fact that COVID told us that being lean on inventory may not be a good strategy for a lot of brands and clients. Some amount of inventory buildup is also happening. The overall GDP growth means a lot of imports, a lot of storage. So overall, if you look at the opportunity side, there are plenty. Challenges will remain. It's an evolution of any business, and
Hmm.
I believe the 3PL, all the 3PL players, the warehousing, large builders, overall
Hmm.
the government ecosystem is equipped to address the challenges. You couldn't be in a better sweet spot than now. So this is what to say to your first question.
Right. Of course, I totally agree that, COVID as a situation made us adapt to a lot of things, and introduced us to a lot of things that need resilience, and all, when we talk about agility and being resilient. And also, on that note, I'd like to ask you, uh, as compared to the rest of the world, at what stage of 3PL revolution is India at?
So typically we look at a 3PL service, and then we start comparing against the Western world, or have a benchmark. We'll have to see again, as I said, there are two bucket or clear demarcated areas: the warehouse building itself and the standards. Today, most of the leading brands, most of the leading 3PLs go through what you call as a national building code, and you may have a 500-point checklist to fulfill. A simple is that, do you have an exit door which is wide enough to evacuate the people under a warehouse in case of an emergency? Do you have a sprinkler system which activates in nanoseconds to ensure that the damage is restricted? In a chemical warehouse, you will have a sprinkler for water, you will have fire extinguishers, but today you have what you call as foam resistant walls. So you have something called as foaming. So certain hazardous chemicals like class 3 and other hazardous, you might use a foaming equipment. You have what you call a fire retardant pillars. So if you see,
Hmm.
India is there, but at the
Hmm.
same time, Indian context in terms of the marketplace has been always competitive. So you're looking at ultimately what is a warehouse? A warehouse is a necessary devil actually. If you ask somebody, they wouldn't like to have a warehouse if they're able to fulfill the demand directly. So it's a necessary devil. But if you ask
Right.
Toyota, they don't understand might be what's a warehouse on the inbound side. They follow the world's famous just in time and Toyota production system. So every company has a different view, but ultimately in the finished goods side, you're looking at fulfilling a demand. Thus, warehouse comes in between, and India has a very low cost structure. And a lot of technologies, as I said, on warehouse building, material handling equipment, storage equipment, overall productivity norms, KPIs. I believe we are at a world standard already while
Right.
maintaining a low cost. In India, always what we believe is uh, we don't follow the Western world, to the hilt because we know the customers will not pay that much. They themselves have cost pressures. So we find out what we call as the best fit, the Indian aspect of using a particular benchmark and servicing the clients. So end of the day, if we as 3PLs can build the most beautiful warehouse as a palace, but if it's going to not help in fulfilling the demand, it's of no use. So I believe the standards of safety building are there, but at the same time everybody is working on productivity and KPIs to service and fulfill the demand of customers. So I feel that's the stage we are, and we are at the right stage to adopt best of the practices like co-warehousing, like
Hmm.
investment models, like using the cube compared to the square feet. One of the big changes we are seeing is that the cube is being used, that is the volume available in a warehouse versus the square
The
feet
space.
available in a warehouse. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, of course, there's a huge play of WMS and various other associated technologies. So we see that compared to the world, to answer the question, we are there and we might be doing a little bit of innovation out there to service clients.
Right. I think with all the points that you've mentioned, and I've also recently, like apart from the others, I've also recently read about the vertical warehousing and the shared warehousing. And I think it's just going to take, as an economy and as a logistics hub, a global logistics hub. I think it's just going to take us north. So let's talk about TCI now a little bit. TCI has been a very prominent player in the logistics industry, and in fact, it was one of the few big names that I heard. Like as my personal experience, it was one of those big names that I heard when I came into the industry, when I started delving into the world of logistics and supply chain. So what do you think sets TCI apart and contributes to its leadership in the 3PL sector?
Sure, thanks. So you're coming specific to TCI, though we would always like to be talking more on the industry and representing the industry. But since you're asking, uh, see, one of the things what stands out is TCI has always believed in following what the customer wants in whichever service it sort of offers to its clients. We believe customization is the key. As I said, we may have our own thinking, our own approach, but end of the day, ability to offer customized solutions is one differentiator. Second is being relevant. That is, when I say relevant, do you have a state of the art box? Do you have a state of the art technology? And are you able to give an end to end solution using technology and people as enabler? In a warehouse environment, uh, you may have the best box, you may have the best technology, but it's the people who run. And in India, where majority of the brand sales happen in the last 1 week, where 50-60% of the month sales happen, is the people who make the difference, who will use the box and the technology effectively and will put the hard work and smart work. And I believe that's where TCS stands out, that our people in the ground are definitely committed. I myself would have spent sleepless nights in a warehouse trying to service clients' requirements because that's how the demand gets fulfilled in India. And you can't change that side of the equation. So the whole point, our clients believe that TCS is going to be normally flexible while following the rules and regulations to the hilt, because end of the day compliances are critical. But we will be always flexible when it comes to going the extra mile to service. So in another aspect is, typically clients look for a pan India tier 2, tier 3 levels of services. And that's where TCI, being a network based company with 1500 odd offices, starts having an edge compared to many players, because you start saying, I need a warehouse at Raipur, I need a warehouse at, say, a Bangladesh border or a Nepal border, a warehouse or a yard. TCI stands out. TCI having a multimodal service, we have what we call as hub and spoke of automobiles using a multimodal storage network. Now, this is something again very unique, which TCI offers to its clients. So, when you look at quote unquote warehousing, uh, it's not that you only have a box to manage, but it is how the entire supply chain you manage to fulfill the customer demand with on a right time at a right price, and the sale happens. So here, quote unquote, sale for a customer is the ultimate parameter which any 3PL can fulfill, whether on the warehousing side, the order processing side, or whether it's on the delivery. So that's what we believe in TCA over years. We manage around 14 million square feet of warehousing space. We have around close to 55 plus yards. These have we have built over the experience. Also, another part is you touched upon benchmarking. TCI has been to more than 100 facilities across US, the Europe, Asia, to learn from the global footprint, learn from global best practices, and those we bring in and put it into the Indian context. So, in a nutshell, follow the customer, learn from the global supply or the global market, customize it so that customers get what we call as what they need. So this is what we
Right,
believe stands out as far as TCI is concerned.
right, right. So from our conversation until now, it's pretty obvious, and you've said a lot of things to substantiate the fact that India's logistics industry is definitely going through a significant and a major transformation, and it's still an ongoing process. It's just going to continue for a very long time. You also mentioned in the last while answering the last question that about using technology to create an end-to-end supply chain. Now, these all transformations, these all the changes that are coming through, be it in warehousing or transportation, these are driven by technology and digitization or digitalization, ultimately. So how do you think that the industry as a whole can leverage these trends to stay competitive, in like as compared to the international counterparts, and foster economic growth?
Sure. So when you look at a warehousing environment, unlike the logistics side, the intervention of technology as a whole is substantial. So when you look at technology, it's not only an IT or a software, but the effective use of material handling equipment itself is a huge game changer, and any company can have a competitive advantage over how they use material handling equipment and material storage. Now that's a science. That's something which you design. You use an ecosystem to help it out, but end of the day, you should know how to use it effectively. It's also an area of concern in terms of safety. If you go to the US or Europe, one of the biggest worries is forklift or a reach truck. Maximum accidents happen around that. But that technology of a forklift or a battery operated equipment or a clamp forklift or any gadget you use to increase the productivity or pick up a particular merchandise or goods from the warehouse, it requires a particular understanding of the entire operation, technology, the maintenance, and ensuring that the operation doesn't suffer. So when you go to modernization, you have to believe that you need a reach truck which goes to say a level of 35, 40 feet. And if that reach truck breaks down, what do? These are normally imported into the country. So you can always buy the best of the things, but it's how you manage is critical. So that's one part in the warehouse. A lot of WMS suppliers are there. which is typically a layer above ERP system. So we operate the ERP, and we of course do the inventory management or certain operations of picking and what you call as put away on the WMS. But having a knowledge of that helps the customer to ensure that they always have visibility of the inventory at a particular location. That's the most difficult part, and all these technologies tie up together. But the most important aspect is, kudos to the government. They came up last year with the National Logistics Policy. They have a Gati Shakti MMLP policy. They are looking at a ULIP and ONDC. Now, while these sound discrete items, and somebody will think how this ties up into a warehouse, I did say a warehouse is is something which you wouldn't like to have if given a choice. But when you have that, integrating it to your entire value chain is very critical. And these technologies will help to bring in components of the entire transaction you want to capture. So if there's a import coming from a port and you want to see a visibility, ULIP has it because they have all the ports and major terminals and ICDs and railway networks on RFID. So you can see where your container is. Now ships also let us know where the container is. FOIS helps you to see if the container is on the train, and that is an incoming to a warehouse. A warehouse always needs to know from where the cargo is coming, when it is coming, and what's the nature of the cargo. It's something called as advanced shipping notice. So a warehouse gets a ASN. Now that aspect is now government helping to digitize. So if you're part of ULIP, it helps you that to get components of your track and trace. Then you of course do processing, and when you do an outbound, again ULIP helps because driver check, the vehicle check is on apps or APIs like as WAN and Sarthi. So if you look end to end, then you have of course the fast track data flowing into a system. You have something called as ePOD. You don't need to have a physical POD anymore. That also flows into your entire ERP WMS. So if you see across the transaction life cycle, there are multiple technologies which will come in, and you can get that integrated into a single glass pipeline. So that's the whole aspect of technology play while using the best of material handling equipment, material handling storage, and the people equipped and trained to manage that. So bear in mind certain aspects you need people who can manage these gadgets and use them effectively. So this is what a typical technology ecosystem in a warehouse looks like or plays out. And we believe Indian industry, especially the 3PL and all our clients, are very much aware of it and they're adopting, and that adoption is going pretty fast.
Right, right. In fact, I completely agree with the last part that you just said, that we have the technology, we have the machines, and the requirement now is for the manpower that is skilled enough, that is aware enough to sorry, to handle this as well as handle them efficiently and safely. So on that note, I would like you to tell me what do you think, like as a part of TCI, what do you think is the best facet of technology that you as an organization are using?
So
Just one particular one.
we're using most of it, but what I would say is a single word is control tower. See, in our industry, people who are from the industry will agree. If there are 100 activities or 100 tasks, you do 99 right and you're always there. That one mistake, you are, if people know Sishupala, you are no Sishupala. Sishupala got a waiver of 100 mistakes. We will not get a waiver in the first mistake. They will judge you that you are good or pathetic. So the catch is how do you ensure that that one mistake doesn't happen? And if it happens one, because mistakes do happen, how do you ensure it doesn't repeat? So the whole game is how do you use technology to ensure that those mistakes don't repeat? And of course, there's an aspect of training. Let us never, sort of sideline training. It's the most important aspect as a layer cutting across everything I spoke just now. So control tower or predicting or having predictive mechanisms to look at load, to look at demand, look at supply, look at variations of people's attendance. So, like during festivals, you'll see people are not there. During Holi, you'll see certain people will not be there in the warehouses. When everybody is enjoying, everybody has a big billion day or everybody has big sales, everybody has got Diwali and Dasera, the warehouse works. Now, how do you get people to work during a holiday when everybody's celebrating? I think these are certain key aspects wherein you can use technology and human skills. I will never discount human skills of it to manage. So we believe control tower with correct set of human skills and managerial skills will help us to bridge the gap and deliver what we have promised our clients.
Right, absolutely true, sir. Now, I know you said that you want to speak about the industry more and not TCI, but I'd like to take one particular question. Uh, Talk about the contributions of TCI to the logistics industry of India. TCI Safe Safar is a remarkable initiative focusing on road safety and the health of drivers and those people who are engaged in road transportation logistics. Can you elaborate on the impact that it has had and how such initiatives contribute to the societal well being and economic development at the same time?
Sure. The question is quite holistic, but when you ask of safe suffer, you can ask, we'd like to really, are quite passionate about it. And
Hmm,
to give you a background, we started in 2018. And this is the concept is that you have two trucks which open up as a stage. And on the stage, you have what you call as a Nukkad Natak, which is performed in
hmm,
local language, educating drivers, cleaners, laborers about safety, and now we have added an element of environment in the language they understand and with a relationship direct with them. During this entire episode, which is live with them, bear in mind to get drivers is the most difficult part because drivers are always on the move. So you'll have to catch them when they are resting or when they are parking. We also have quizzes. We also have prizes to them, and most important, we give out a safety jacket to them. During COVID, of course, it was highly restricted. When we got the permission, we gave out mask and sanitizer. The whole point is to reach to the driver and not make driver come to you. So, what's
hmm,
the easiest part of saying that I'm going to train is that you are in a building and getting people in. But the difficult
hmm,
part is you go to the people where they are. So that's what TCS Safe Suffer does. The truck, the Nukkad Nadak goes to their house, to their place of work, and we try to engage them. So they are, by the way, seated and they are given refreshments. They are
hmm,
treated equal to anyone else, and that's what Safe Suffer, besides trying to tell the driver the message of safety environment, we want to tell the whole world as well as everybody who is associated with them, every Indian, that we have to treat drivers fairly and equally. So these are the two messages we give broadly, and we are happy to share that it has won a lot of awards from IMA, British Tie Award, and it has reach has crossed a million and it is going strong. And in fact, the Honorable Minister in 2019, Sri Nitin Gadkari ji, flagged it off, and it will continue in its journey to engage with drivers, laborers, cleaners with the message of safety, environment, health. So it's something which we believe. By the way, this is not a CSR activity. I repeat, we are not doing this under CSR. We are doing it as part of our contribution to business. We believe
hmm.
they play a very vital role, which we saw during COVID, and we believe we owe it to them. And that's what TCI would like to do in terms of giving it back to. So that's as part of Safe Suffer. In terms of where TCI is and what it wishes to do, we believe that TCI uh, is able to maintain its tagline leaders in logistics. We're able to service our customers and we are able to build the entire ecosystem of logistics, supply chain management, 3PL, what we're talking today, for the whole country and the regional surrounding countries, TCI where it operates, and through multiple ways. whether it's a particular service, whether it is technology, or it is people engagement, or it is contribution to research reports, or engaging the government as a thought leader. So we believe we have a gamut of services and aspects to offer. And you'll be pleased to know that recently we started a lab with IIM Bangalore, which is called as the TCI IIM Bangalore Sustainability Lab, and it intends to implement sustainability programs for especially the MSMEs in the logistics industry. So the whole point is that when we're talking of ESG, we don't want to leave uh, the major part of fraternity which is yet to come up to speed as far as ESG is concerned, and of course do a lot of research papers. So that's what the lab will do. And as I maintained, TCI handles 2.5% of India's GDP by value. It is close to, say, 80 to 90 billion dollars of gross merchandise value. Through our network, we would like to increase it by ensuring that our customers are, satisfied with what we do and learn. We always say we are 60, 65 years young because if you have to be relevant, we need to be young and we need to listen to what our customers and what our employees are saying. So that's what we would like to say in terms of what TCI looks forward to.
Hmm. I think in the wake of driver sensitization, or for that matter, sensitization towards the entire manpower that works for the logistics industry, and as you said, every person, be it a person with a white collar job or a blue collar job, everyone's contributions have been uh, so significant, especially during the COVID period, that it is important that we acknowledge each and every one of them. And I think in the wake of that sentiment across the world, this the ESR initiatives by TCI, and this TCI Safe Suffer, it's a very nice and very commendable initiative from your end. So we've talked about the industry, we've talked about TCI. Let's talk about you. You have had an illustrious career in the logistics and supply chain industry, spanning over 16 years. Now, I would like to know what have been some key milestones or experiences that have shaped your journey in the field, things that you would consider as the highlights of your career in the logistics and supply chain industry.
Oh, I thought you'll never ask that question. But anyways, the least I would like to talk is about myself because I am just what I would say in the industry language or even in TCS language. I've just started because I've got a lot of colleagues and peers who are much more experienced and knowledgeable and have done much more than me. Um, but since you have asked, just to state, the fact that any individual, since we are talking of an individual capacity, is as good as the organization in which you are. So here it's the TCI brand name, being leaders in the logistics area and having contributed over 60 years successfully itself gives you a platform to execute whatever you plan and you get the backing of the management. By the way, TCI is highly empowered company. The management doesn't sign a check and it's all professionals like us who take business decisions and we're completely empowered. So one of the key aspect is that's what we have learned or I have learned, and that helps you to get the milestone. So as a company, as an individual, last year we won the national award which was given by Honorable Sri Piyush Goyal. It was by Ministry of Commerce, the Logistics Secretary Office, the best 3PL warehousing company of the year and the best cold
Very
chain
well.
warehousing company of the year. So I think
All right.
that epitomizes whatever I wish to say in terms of milestone. I need not say anything else. The fact that we could reach that last year, the first time it was handed over, it's as good as we celebrate film stars and film and national film awards. Unfortunately, media didn't pick up this, so aggressively. We request that even now it's not late; they should pick it up. Uh, the logistics industry is the backbone, as you have always been saying, and we are talking. Besides the fact that we are able to mentor people, enable them to come up. So I have a very strong team, and a lot of leaders are coming up, and that gives you a satisfaction. And another milestone will be the fact that lot of new areas TCI is able to touch, whether in the part of 3PL, whether in part of logistics operations. So TCI is always in the forefront, like the IMB lab I mentioned, or a safe suffer, or any large contract which we get. I think these are all the milestones. End of the day, if we are able to add value to the entire ecosystem of the players who are in the logistics fraternity, I think it's a job well done, and that's what I would like to say. But as they say, plenty more to do, or a long, long way to go. You're on mute, Rachit. Rachit, you're on mute.
I was just saying that it's an honor to have you with us, and we hope that you have many more years of a fulfilled career in front of you. Okay, so I would like to end this question. I would like to end this interview by asking you the last question. What is your vision of the future of India's 3PL industry, and how can it drive to continue to drive the economic growth and competitiveness on a global scale?
Oh, so it's sort of crystal gazing, but yes, what I would say,
Yes.
it's going to be quite positive. It's we are talking of the numbers we spoke. In a decade, some is easily it will double. One of the key aspect is to add warehousing in part of your entire town planning at a public level. Give
Mhm.
the recognition to warehousing. Make warehousing 24/7 in most. Have diversity. Make warehousing safe for the local women to come there and work and earn livelihood and go back after the shift ends. Uh, if all of us can get together and provide these facilities, make warehousing a happy happening place. Can we make a warehouse the mall, quote unquote, of the logistics? Can we make it a place where people want to be there? Uh, One of the biggest trends which we didn't cover, but just we would like to say, is that all warehouses are becoming green in terms of water recycle, in terms of treatment of waste, in terms of solar power or renewable power. So a lot of investments are coming into what I call as green warehousing. You're getting standards, whether it is LED or the other standards of certification. So I believe we are in the, as I said earlier, sweet spot. But we all also have to make it standardized. We have to make it diverse, and most importantly, this standardization of pallets. If it happens at warehouse level, the industry and the entire economy will benefit, because the cost of operations will come down, the logistics cost will come down, because you're going to have less wastage and damage. So these are some high level points what we would like to share in terms of what's there in the future. But I believe you'll see a very good future for all the warehousing 3PL players.
So, amen to that crystal ball gazing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we draw the curtains on this insightful webinar, Rediscovering India's 3PL Supremacy and its role in the country's economic growth, I'm filled with gratitude for the engaging discussion that we've had today. I hope that each one of you, our esteemed viewers, found this conversation as enlightening and as inspiring as I did. I want to extend my deepest gratitude to our distinguished guest today, Mr. Rajkiran Kanagala, for sharing his profound insights and expertise on the pivotal role of 3PL in India's economic landscape. So, your depth of knowledge and the passion for the subject matter have undoubtedly enriched our understanding. And also, a big shout out to TCI for facilitating this. So, before we conclude, I would like to encourage you all to carry forward the knowledge that you've gained today. Let these insights inspire new ideas. Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Kanagla, for your time and your wisdom and the dedication to the industry. And thanks to our viewers, without whom this webinar wouldn't be possible. Stay tuned for more
Absolutely.
thoughtful
Thank you.
from Logistics Insider. Thank you so much, sir. You have a
Thank
good
you,
rest
everybody.
of
Thanks for joining. Thank you very much. My pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.